Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Additoinal and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we're going to be talking about the incoming VR hype train. That's right, there are a lot of things to be excited for in the near future, and it doesn't matter how you consume your VR content. PCVR, Quest, PlayStation VR2, there's something great coming for everyone. Now, even though we're going over the hype train, I promise not to overhype anything and keep it real throughout the video. Over the past 7 years, VR has been on this upward trajectory, and it has some amazing peaks and some pretty low valleys that make it feel like VR is dead every once in a while. Well, it looks like we're about to hit another one of those peaks. Let's go through that. Now, there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Have you added about 15 accessories to your Quest 2 and it no longer fits in the official case? Well, don't worry because Kiwi has you covered. Kiwi's brand new carrying case guarantees to fit 9 accessories. There's pockets for extra cables, an ample amount of padding, and a hard exterior to help protect your device, plus a nice sleek black water resistant design. There's a link in the description to their website, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so we'll be ordering all of today's items based on how much impact they'll have on the overall VR industry. So something like PCVR would come first, because even though it's my preferred way to game, it's just not as popular globally when it comes to VR. And the first on today's list is the new Pimax Crystal. Now, I already gave my early first impressions / light review on this headset in conjunction with Sadly It's Bradley, and neither of us were really big fans of this headset, especially when we first received it. It had a lot of early access bugs, and personally we thought it was too soon for Pimax to be giving out these headsets for testing. Now, I am happy to say that things are coming along. A lot of the bugs I experienced have been resolved, and while it's still not a headset I would immediately recommend, if you are a big PCVR enthusiast with money to burn and you love to play sim titles, this is a headset to get excited about because it will give you the best visuals you have ever seen. So that right there is something to get hyped about if you are a PCVR enthusiast who loves to play sim games. I know that's basically a niche within a niche, but it's still something to get hyped about. Now, another PCVR headset that has even more appeal, in my opinion at least, is the BigScreen Beyond, and that has just started to ship. For those of you who basically spend your entire day in PCVR, this is the headset for you. It is incredibly small and light to the point that it seems like it came right from the future. Honestly, nothing else is this tiny. It's only 120 grams, which is about the third the weight of a Quest 2, which is already a pretty darn light headset. Increasing that comfort factor even more is the fact that all of these headsets are custom fit to your specific face. It also has OLED panels for those deep blacks and excellent colors that everyone desires, plus some ultra high resolution screens. So PCVR enthusiasts have another reason right here to get all hyped up. But let's move on to the Apple Vision Pro, which unfortunately isn't releasing until 2024, so the hype level isn't high right now. However, this will be the first opportunity for the paradigm to shift in the VR industry. It's been meta, with PCVR being pooped on for a couple years now. The Apple Vision Pro will be a whole new OS with whole new capabilities. Again, it's extreme enthusiast level, introductory hardware, but it's going to take us to new places we've never been before. At least that's the hope here. Now, I know Mac and games do not go hand in hand, but we did find out that AR titles like Demio are coming to this headset. I know other ones are also on the way that I can't mention yet. Unreal is looking into making the engine run on the Apple Vision Pro, which would open up the possibility of a lot more games. So just because it's not a gaming device yet, doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. And Apple will most likely have the best way to consume content or experience AR applications as we move into 2024. Also, to get near laptop quality hardware in a standalone headset is extremely impressive in itself. For years, we've been calling the Quest a cell phone strap to your face, and this would make the Apple Vision Pro a laptop strap to your face. But somehow they managed to keep the weight down. Now, I know most people don't get that excited for new hardware, and what they really want from VR is new software. The one platform that has been missing out the most is the PlayStation VR2. It had a decent launch lineup, and then has kind of gone dead. Well, luckily, that's about to change with the Resident Evil 4 remake coming to VR in the near future. I know what you're thinking, this is getting like Skyrim. We're about to replay Resident Evil 4 on the 17th different platform. But a good game is a good game, and why not keep playing it? especially if it's been remade to perfection. Now, I really hope that Sony is working on some additional first-party games to wow us in VR. It would be a missed opportunity if this holiday season passes and they didn't give us anything special. So besides the Resident Evil 4 remake, I don't have much to offer up to the PlayStation VR2 users. And in the meantime, the third-party titles will have to satisfy us. Now, speaking of third-party titles, I do my best to keep you viewers up to date on everything that's coming out. But a lot of times things just sort of sneak in or go under the radar that are definitely worth mentioning. Like Hellsplit, the Arena Fighter, now has version 1.2 coming out, which introduces mods. And this looks absolutely incredible. There's also the Half-Life Alyx mod Gundam Contracts, which is getting a full game release. So it won't just be a Half-Life Alyx mod, it'll be a full game releasing in the future. I'm personally pumped for titles like Assassin's Creed, Vampire the Masquerade, and Ghostbusters VR. All of those third-party games look excellent. I think they'll be a lot of fun to play. Another sleeper title appears to be Dungeons of Eternity. And obviously the mod scene keeps filling the gap for PCVR players. Just recently, the absolutely fantastic Portal 2 became available in VR. And if you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend you do so. And obviously the biggest thing to get hyped for right now is the Quest 3, which I'm sure we'll get more information about next week at Meta Connect. Now, I recently put out a video with my hopes and fears for this headset. As we're getting closer, I'm personally getting more and more hyped. I think it has a lot to offer to basically everyone in the VR industry. PCVR gamers can get a cheap new upgrade, which has Wi-Fi 6E. I know it doesn't have a display port, but Wi-Fi 6E and a better encoder, you're gonna have a better wireless PCVR experience, and it's not going to be super expensive like those enthusiast headsets we already went over. Those who absolutely love the Quest right now can get a serious performance boost and visual upgrade from the Quest 3. And finally, we get to play around with some augmented reality. If it ends up being great, well then that's just a huge cherry on top. If it ends up being not so good, well then unfortunately we just have to spend a little bit extra money. That's really what it comes down to. People who recently bought a Quest 2 won't have to experience any FOMO because Quest 3 only titles are most likely a year or so out, so it's not like they'll be missing anything. But what gets me most excited for VR and deserves its own hype train is first-party titles. Meta has spent years acquiring VR game studios, seemingly done nothing with them. However, they've just all been hard at work, and it takes a while to produce a game. Usually it's 3+ years. And that's why we're finally getting Asgard's Wrath, which appears to be an insanely huge and incredibly high quality title. There's rumors that the studio Camouflage that gave us Iron Man VR is working on a Batman game, and I'm really curious to see what else Meta has up their sleeves. Now, before I go into a few more items that aren't members of the hype train, I'm just curious what you guys are most excited for. Is it a specific game? Let me know down in the comments. Or do you want to get your hands on some of this juicy hardware? Okay, so some final items that intrigue me is one, the new immersed headset. This is a headset designed to work in VR. I personally didn't think that the Quest Pro was capable of that job. It just wasn't comfortable enough. It didn't provide high quality pass-through, but Immersed is working on a headset specifically for this. And if you've never heard that name before, they actually do the software suite designed for working in VR. So they're probably the best people to work on hardware, because if you do the software side and the hardware side, and you know them both really well, you can make a robust product. Kind of like what happened with the Valve Index. Valve knew the hardware and software side extremely well and gave us a great product. And finally, there's something else coming from that I can't talk about yet, but all I will say is that when I first saw it, I had zero interest in it. And then when I learned about it and got to experience it, I wanted it. It's nothing specifically new, but it has the potential to take the industry in a slightly different direction and make it more mainstream. So that also intrigues me. And that right there was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.